towards the overriding story of the day, which is racing at Bristol and who's going to win. There is a headline 1A on this day. During Friday's practice sessions, teams saw a very heavy wear on their right side tires, unexpectedly heavy wear, a right side tire that had not been raced at this track before. So a meeting with all the crew chiefs was called, and a change was made. Overnight, Goodyear trucked in a different right side tire combination, one that was raced here successfully last August. Cars will start the race on the tire they've been having difficulty with, but a competition caution is going to be thrown at lap 25, and all teams will switch to the replacement tire at that time. The left side tires, by the way, no problem at all, but a new right side tire going to be put into use 25 laps into this race. NASCAR's Vice President of Competition, Robin Pemberton, was one of those decision makers, and Robin joins us now from down in the garage area. First, thanks for the time. If the tire last August here was successful, why was there an effort to change it?
Well, Alan, one of our things that we do throughout the year is every Tuesday we have a meeting with Goodyear, and we discuss the past, the present, and the future. And even though we had a great tire here last August, through conversations with the teams, they felt like the track rubbered in a little too much. They needed a little more grip, and they thought it'd put on a better show. So Goodyear went to work, and they came up with a tire that they thought would be a good replacement for it. And as we showed up today, this weekend, it was just a little too much wear. But we never quit trying to make the racing better for the fans. Even though we have a good race, we always look at things in different ways to make it better and make it more competitive. Which I'm sure Rusty will weigh in on that. You got to have good tires to have good races.
Can't race without them. Now, this backup plan is kind of part of what's become standard operating procedure between NASCAR and Goodyear. Can you explain that?
Yeah, and it's been going on for a number of years. As you know, that not all the tires are used every weekend, and Goodyear is always, they have warehouses full of tires, whether they're in Akron or in the Charlotte area, and they're kept in a nice, comfortable, cool building all the time. And we have selections of tires that we can go to if we need a backup plan at almost any racetrack all across the country.
A natural question, why not start today's race on the incoming right side tire rather than 25 laps on the outgoing tire and then make the change?
Yeah, and that's a good question. It's a 50-50 split, because either way you were going to be cold turkey on a set of tires because they didn't get here last night and mounted till this morning. So we felt like it was good for the tires that they've been practicing on for a day now, that they started the race and got a few laps under their belt, and then at lap 25 we'll throw a competition caution. They'll put the new tires on and they'll go from there. That way the teams all have an adequate amount of tires to finish the race on. They should have 4 sets sitting in the pits.
Thanks for the time, Robin. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, Alan. Thank you.
Robin Pemberton, NASCAR's Vice President of Competition. So how is this change, 25 laps into the race, going to affect the teams and the cars? The crew chief who won the most recent race here is with Dr. Jerry Punch now. Doc, he's had a lot to think about overnight.
Alan, he certainly has, and championship crew chief Jason Ratcliffe and Kyle Busch. And Jason, let me ask you, first off, what was the biggest issue, we just heard from Robin Pemberton, with the tire, the right side tire you were given to start the weekend with?
Well, when we started yesterday, we didn't know a lot about the tire. We haven't run this tire here yet. And Goodyear, they're always trying to improve, make things better. And they've been listening to the competitors. Hey, what do we need to make the tire better at Bristol? So you got a couple of different variables here. You want the tire to have enough grip where the drivers can go out and compete, but at the same time, you don't want to have any wear issues. So they brought a different tire, trying to hit a happy medium to fit both of those variables. And it just wasn't laying rubber down on the racetrack. After the first practice, now it was very cold, in the morning. It was about mid-40s. And we would come in and you would just see a dust, just a powder. And it wasn't putting any rubber down, so the tires would cord in about 25 laps. Now, as the temperatures came up during the day, once it got in the 70s, you started seeing it stick to itself. It started putting a little bit of rubber down. The left side probably contributed a little bit, and you started getting these little gummy, like this. So the tires started sticking once the temperatures came up. So I think track temp could have been part of the problem, but I think NASCAR and Goodyear did a good job of being proactive and saying, hey, we could possibly have an issue here, especially if we get some weather, if we get some rain and wash the rubber off the racetrack. We could have a problem. We don't want to do that. So I think they were proactive. They did a good job of going to a plan B and it should prove to be, you know, a good race both on Saturday and Sunday for the fans.
All right, Jason Ratcliffe. And also, by the way, guys, when they make that lap 25 change, Jason said we got to make sure we have enough clearance for that splitter up front. That could be a concern for a lot of crew chiefs up and down pit road. Alan?
All right, Doc, thanks. And let's dig a little deeper into the difference between the outgoing and incoming right side tires. We bring in our champion crew chief, Tim Brewer, from the Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. Goodyear's always working in the interest of the crew chiefs, the drivers. A lot of input to make the tires better. But here, they came out here with a softer tire. This is actually what happened to the tire 25, 30 laps into the run. The reason being, we talked about the coolness up here and the soft tire. What this tire does, it's soft. It gives the cars a lot of grip. So what they do, they bring back a tire that's got a harder compound, this layer of rubber right here, this gauge, about 5/30 seconds. What that's going to do is enable the cars to run a full pit stops and not have any problem, weather-related or wear-related, today in Bristol. AB?
Tim, thanks. Rusty, Brad, reaction to the change, and what does it mean for the race?
I'm glad they did it, but I personally don't think they were going to have a problem. It's got warmer here in Bristol. It's rubbered up. I mean, it's great that they do have a B plan in place. But, guys, I will tell you, this is a very, very small change, this new tire, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. And now they do have, what do you call it, insurance plan in place that we're not going to have a problem. So, as a driver, I wouldn't be concerned about this thing. I don't think it's going to make my car handle much different at all.
Yeah, I don't think many of the competitors are concerned at all. But for me, though, I'm very impressed with NASCAR for having a backup plan that they could implement so quickly, and to have a situation like this come up and they can handle it, and it's almost seamless. I applaud them because this was an excellent effort to get those tires here so quick.
So